It's the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion. This is for Monday, the 31st of March. I'm Michael Groff. Get ready for Mr. Toad's wild ride of temperatures. Afternoon highs today will be pretty close to, if not ever so slightly above seasonal averages. But then somewhat cooler tomorrow, much cooler on Wednesday. In fact, Wednesday's high temperatures may not even make 70 degrees. We'll stay with below average temps through the rest of the week, but then we begin a warming trend by this weekend and next week. How high will those temperatures climb? Well, we're going into the month of April, so you can probably imagine, but we'll give you the details here as we dive on in. Plus, there may be some rain chances along the way, at least over parts of the state, along with breezy to windy conditions at times. So, a lot going on. Let's dive on in. The almanac from yesterday, 84 degrees the afternoon high for your Sunday. 60 was the morning low. 82 and 57 are the averages for this time of year. Outside now, just after 1 o'clock. A lot of high clouds out there. We'll call it mostly cloudy, but the sun is still managing to poke through there. 79 degrees at Sky Harbor, dew point's 45. Humidity 30%, a light wind, and the barometer is falling. Satellite picture out here across the west, and we do have plenty of high clouds beginning to stream on in. A broad trough is going to be developing across the western United States in the coming days, and that is going to result in cooler temperatures. We're going to get that ridge out of here for a while, and we'll see that moisture coming in, but will it result in rain? Well, we'll talk about that in a moment. The watch warning map lit up here. Okay, we've got lots of wind out here across the west, a number of wind advisories that extend from the Sierra and the Great Basin through northern Arizona, New Mexico. Some of those are high wind warnings as well. We also have red flag warnings over southeast Arizona, much of Pinal, Pima, Santa Cruz, Graham, Greenlee, Cochise, and into much of New Mexico and West Texas, Amarillo, Lubbock, Childress, Midland, Odessa, El Paso. You take, of course, the low humidity, the gusty winds, and warming temperatures. In fact, over West Texas tomorrow, they could see highs getting up in the low 90s in spots. All of that comes together for the fuel for those wildfires, and that's why those red flag warnings are issued. Now, for us, we don't have any advisories here in Phoenix or Maricopa County as of right now. Of course, we'll keep an eye on that. Now, further to the east, some flood watches around parts of the Mississippi River Valley near Memphis and points to the north and east from there. Also, we have some severe weather that's been ongoing over the Carolinas and Georgia, North Florida today with that front that continues to advance eastward, that kind of a linear event. And as of the time I put this graphic together, there was a tornado warning there in South Carolina. That's well to the west of Charleston. But at the moment, as I'm taking a look here at the graphic, I don't see any new tornado warnings, but we have had a few of those popping up with this line of storms. Mostly, this line has behaved. We've seen a few reports of some strong gusty winds and some hail, but for the most part, not a whole lot of severe weather with that. All right, the convective outlook. We still have the enhanced risk over the Carolinas and Georgia, but that's advancing eastward. By the time you watch this, most places will be in the clear, except for the immediate Atlantic coast from Florida up to around New York City. We have a risk of thunder north of the state today for a good portion of the Great Basin and the Intermountain West. How about that here for the end of March? And there's maybe some thunder possible tomorrow and into Wednesday, even down into parts of Arizona, which, again, we'll talk about in a moment. Here's the precipitation outlook. This is valid through Monday morning of next week. Rain amounts in Phoenix. It is possible we might see enough rain to measure, but probably not much more than 1 or 2/100ths of an inch at best. Somewhat heavier totals, at least 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch possible north of us. But there's still some uncertainty as to how all of this will play out. And we'll try to figure that out right now as we get to the models, see what the future may hold. Here we go. This is the GFS. It's the 12Z run. This is valid at 5 o'clock this afternoon. All right, there's that trough in the Great Lakes extending down through much of the east that's brought the severe weather to parts of the southeast and some snow and some gusty winds to the northern tier states. We've got another trough developing out here across the west, and that's a cold trough. It's going to be digging south with time. What it means for us down at the surface for the rest of the day today, A lot of high clouds. Again, mostly cloudy, but you'll still see the sun out there. Temperatures this afternoon, low to mid 80s. And that's not far away from where we ought to be here for the last day of March. Any precipitation will be confined north of the state, the Sierra, the Great Basin, Intermountain West. Again, much of the Pacific Northwest, Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, northern Utah, and Colorado. That's about as close as that precipitation gets to us. For tonight, some clouds in the evening, then we'll clear it out. Overnight lows should drop into the 50s for the most part. Should be just a gorgeous night. And then tomorrow, partly cloudy, breezy, and cooler. High temperatures low to mid 70s tomorrow. So we'll be cooler than today. Again, those breezes pick up, but especially across northern Arizona. Could see some wind gusts over 40 miles per hour there. And we do have those red flag warnings over southeast Arizona. But I think the day should be mainly dry. Now, as we go toward Wednesday, that trough continues to dig south. The colder air aloft kind of comes in. There's not a ton of moisture this far south. However, given the dynamics that we have aloft and the stronger winds aloft the cold air, we can't completely rule out an isolated shower or two here across southern Arizona, maybe even a rumble of thunder someplace. So we're going to put a slight chance of a shower in the forecast for Wednesday here in the valley. I wouldn't count on it, but just one of those things. You might catch a few raindrops here or there. Better chances of precipitation across northern Arizona. Nothing widespread, nothing overly heavy, but some rain and higher elevation snow is possible. The big story on Wednesday will be the cooler temperatures. Afternoon highs, how about mid to upper 60s? I thought we'd be done with those 60-degree high temperatures, but luckily, I guess sometimes you get a miracle here in the month of April, and it can happen. But yes, mid to upper 60s. We're going with highs of 64 to 68. I see the latest national blend of models is actually printing out 67 here in Phoenix on Wednesday. Either way, should be a nice day, albeit a little breezy and some clouds around. And again, that slight chance of showers. Thursday might still have some scattered showers over northern Arizona. Nothing really heavy, nothing widespread, but some light precip possible. And I suppose maybe one or two of those try to get to the lower deserts, but we don't have any rain officially mentioned in our forecast for Thursday. High temperatures, upper 60s, low 70s. Still a gorgeous day. All right, Friday, the GFS is really hanging on to this trough over the southwest. It's not in a big hurry to clear it out. It is beginning to swing the main brunt of it eastward, but we still have the low kind of lingering over the southwest for some widely scattered showers in northern Arizona. A couple of showers elsewhere. Again, I think for us, the day on Friday, partly cloudy, highs somewhere in the low to mid 70s. Here comes Saturday. It's going to be a gorgeous day. Now, there is the Foundation Fighting Blindness has their vision walk over at Heroes Park in Glendale on Saturday morning. Should be gorgeous for that. We'll start the day out in the 40s and low 50s. High temperatures will top out in the mid 70s to about 80 degrees with mostly sunny sky. Although, again, the GFS is a little bit slower. This run is anyway, of pushing that trough out. So the cooler air may linger. We might not make it to 80 degrees on Saturday. We probably will on Sunday. Highs again, upper 70s, low 80s. The sky is mostly sunny. A week from today, this is Monday, the 7th of April, and that trough is now east over Texas and a broader trough over the eastern half of Canada down into the Great Lakes. And so the weather pattern going to do a flip there. But we'll be slower to warm up. I do think high temperatures are going to get back in the low and middle 80s, though. Here's Tuesday the 8th, and again, the heights are slowly coming up, so we're going to warm it up. And same thing as we go out 10 days. It's Wednesday the 9th of April. Now you see a broader ridge is developing out here in the west. The heights continue to rise back to around 582 decameters. And if that's right, high temperatures here, I don't know, man, we could be getting pretty close to 90, and you don't want to hear that, but that's kind of the reality as we get further into April. Just for the heck of it, and because I forgot to do this on Friday, David Parnell had requested that we take a jaunt, a little journey way out into Fantasyland, so let's just do that. Now, what I'm going to show you this next graphic means basically nothing, but just for funsies, let's go all the way out 384 hours into the future. This is Wednesday, the 16th of April, 5 a.m. off the GFS. All right. We're way out into fantasy land. We are in the twilight zone of weather here. But if this happens to verify, you've got kind of an omega block almost developing with a big trough that's out there along the East Coast, one off the West Coast, and a ridge in between. And sure looks like we're going to get stuck in a pattern here. And this is one deterministic model, but I have noted that other deterministic runs are similar. The ensembles are kind of printing out something of a similar solution with kind of a ridge over the nation's midsection, a trough well off to our west, and a trough on the East Coast. And if that's right, we are warm, we are dry, probably not triple-digit heat, but definitely temperatures would be a bit above average with southwesterly flow in here, periods of clouds at times. But again, I promise you this is going to change between now and then. I doubt it will change for the cooler or for the wetter for us, but hey, dreaming's free, right? All right, looking at rainfall for Phoenix. This goes out through the 14th of April. This is off the GFS ensemble, and the mean is under 1/10 of an inch. Now, most of the members indicate something, even if it is like 1/100th of an inch. Many of them indicate something, and same thing for the European ensemble. The mean is extremely low, given that basically every member, or about 85% of the members, do show measurable rain. But the ensemble mean is under 1/10 of an inch. The control member is up about 2/10 of an inch. Temperatures off the national blend of models. There it is, 67 degrees on Wednesday. But look at out there toward about 10 days, and you're up at 97. And sometimes the month of April will do that. It's that roller coaster ride. We can really cool it off, and then it warms up. And eventually what happens, as you all know, it warms up and it stays warmed up and it doesn't cool down until October. All right, well, that's it for the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for today. My next video is due back here tomorrow morning. Should you happen to enjoy these videos, be sure to subscribe, like, share, click that notification bell. Leave those comments, questions, and suggestions. If you really like what we do here, then click that thanks icon below the video. Or you can donate to us via PayPal. groffshow@gmail.com is that PayPal address. It's groffshow@gmail.com. Help support the channel. We really, really do appreciate that. And you know who else really appreciates it? And that's the executive producer of the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion, the one and only, my one and only, OAO, the sweetest of all time, the Asian sensation, and the proprietor of sweetchildaz.com.org and the Facebook page of the same name, Sweet Child Arizona, talking about my Michelle. Yes, check her out, her blogs, videos, everything Michelle related, and quite possibly Adriana related. It's all linked up down in the description. So go give that a look, a listen, and let us know what you think of all that. Plus, our streaming station. It's available 24/7, 365. It's called KMGX. We play a ton of music, have a lot of fun with that. And so, again, I encourage you to check all of that out as well. It's, again, KMGX, linked up in the description, or you can go to kmgx.com and listen that way. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. All of your continued support, so greatly appreciated. Please be safe. I don't want to look at that graphic. Just go back to the Sweet Child banner. All right, thank you. I don't want to see that 97. Please be safe, and you guys have yourselves a delightful, dare I even suggest beautiful rest of your Monday.